keep on. All right, and happy Tuesday. It is the beginning of August 2024, and I'm excited to be here for one of our bi-weekly community calls. My name is Jennifer Britton. Wear many hats. Today, I'm wearing the hat as the card deck creator of the Activate Your Group and Team Coaching Superpowers. I'm also the CEO and founder of a company you've probably heard of, Potentials Realized. We've been offering group coaching training since 2006, and I wrote the world's first book on group coaching called Effective Group Coaching. My passion has really been how do we help coaches meet the needs of a growing base of clients that we work with. When I first had this business as a twinkle in my eye, my vision was to see how could we really expand the coaching conversation to many across the traditional borders, where when I started, it was really just a CEO who might access coaching. Today, we have people all over the world engaging in coaching conversations. And what that means for us as coaches is we've also got to expand our range. And this is what led me to 2 years ago launching what is known as the Activate Your Group and Team Coaching Superpower quiz. That quiz has now been taken by thousands around the world. I didn't have a chance to pull the latest data, but as of 6 months ago, we had several thousand people who had taken the actual quiz. And that led me to think, you know what? This needs to go even bigger. For the last 2 years, I've been offering an ICF CCE approved program with the program of the same name, Activate Your Group and Team Coaching Superpowers. And while that's fantastic, I think for all of us, given the quick, almost like wildfire growth of group and team coaching, we all need to get better at expanding our range. Because when we're working with, if you imagine this is our client group, everyone in this group or team likely has different needs. They're going to be hearing things differently from us. They're going to be activated by different coaching questions. They're going to be energized and excited by different coaching styles and approaches. And that's really at the realm or at the base of this whole superpower frame. So part of my mandate is about making coaching accessible. That's not always popular. In fact, 10 years ago, I faced a lot of resistance as we were at a very critical point of moving coaching from a one-on-one domain into a group and team coaching range. And when I spoke, I would get these very interesting comments, people who loved the idea and also people who were very resistant to the idea. And I think we're at a moment in time where the world is changing very rapidly. Economics are changing very rapidly, if we think about even what's been happening this week. And to me, nothing can ever replace the sit-down intimacy of a one-on-one conversation. And in saying that, we know how generational needs are also changing. And so I'm really excited today to introduce to you not just this, framework, but also the fact that the deck, physical and digital deck, is now available on something called Deckible. If you've never heard of Deckible, it's a relatively new app, and many card decks have chosen to put their decks there. Why I'm excited about it is because it's an app. And I don't control the app. It's actually like that. They're just app makers. And what they're going to do is bring the deck to you. So I'm going to share a little bit more, but you can scan the QR code. I actually have my phone here today. It's relatively small, but when you open up the Deckible app, you're actually going to see what decks you have in your area. So you're seeing my deck. So we're talking today about our group and team coaching superpower deck, but actually following behind, ready to launch in an app testing, is my next deck that's coming to the forefront. And it's one of our Reconnecting Workspaces deck, which is part of the 90-day guide for success. I like to learn as well, so I've got some of my own learning decks here. You can see, right? I've worked actually with the two really great creators, and I want to give a shout out to Lou Bortone. Lou sort of put me onto this app almost a year ago when I was doing some work about thinking about how could we take, or how could I take my video and put it more into short form. And last fall, he partnered with a phenomenal card deck creator herself, Rosie Batista, and she helped him put his course on the app. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting, given that, and I don't have the exact figure at hand, but the number of times the average North American or, again, adult is picking up their phone is pretty extensive. And so to me, this is the next wave of really helping people develop new habits, new insights on a regular basis. So I want to share with you just a quick video. This is sort of the trailer. And this is what Rosie pulled together for me. So she helped me not with the creative part, but really looking at how do I get the deck over to Deckible, because there is a bit of a process. That's not the intent of this, but I would just say that, it's not just like you create a deck and it's done. It's been a several month effort to really bring what are 10 characters and 10 different types of coaches into a space where you can actually think about it. So today we're going to play with the deck if you have it. As you can see, we have these different characters. I actually just happened on the 30th of July, when I was last using this, went in to meet Uniqua. Uniqua is one of the coaches, along with, as you can see here, I think her name is Joanne, sorry, her name is Joanne. And these coaches, who are Spiral Lighthouse coaches, are really about building that safe harbor of trust, safety, connection. And Spiral Lighthouse coaches, as many of you know, are also really good at looking at issues from multiple layers. That's a very different energy than our catalytic firecrackers like Marva, who you can see on the screen. Marva's actually an accounts manager by day, coach by night, as we hear in so many realms. And Marva's energy is that, like that firecracker of the go-getter working on goals, results, etc. Now, you might think, well, that's nice, but why is it important for me to understand who these different characters are? Because here's the thing, when we're coaching many, when we're working with groups or teams, we need to not just double down in our strengths. We actually need to expand our range. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be playing with the app. I'm going to be picking some random cards. For those of you that have the app, I'm going to be inviting you to pick a card as well. And we'll look at how Deckible really works in the app. Now, if you're not sold on this already, I want you to think about the work that you have on the horizon, right? So maybe you're working with a team this fall. Chances are you're not doing this alone. And one of the things that we know for a lot of coaches, which is a super stretch, is the ability to co-coach. Chances are our co-coach has a different style, a different way of working. And we don't always have a lot of time to work and plan with that person. So my hope is that this deck also provides both of you, or even if there's more than two of you, the opportunity to learn more about each other's strengths, approaches, and preferences before you even step into the room. And it's, again, very accessible. So I know, Ivana, you said you've got your app here. Steph, do you have the app as well?
I did. I
Okay.
downloaded it. Do you have to log in though, apparently?
Yeah, you do need to log in and you need to actually download the app. So there's a bit of a learning curve, like with any new technology. Deckible will give you access to any decks of your choice for 3 days. So even if you haven't purchased this deck, follow along. You can head on over, and I'll just show you that QR code. You can head on over, scan the QR code, or just go to Deckible. You can look up my name, last name is easiest, Britton, or look up Activate Deck, which is what it's called. It's called the Activate Deck. But as you get there, you can download this and experiment with it for 3 days without even purchasing. If you like it, I'd say buy it, because it's 63 different cards. Not just the card, but there's a video that's included with each of the cards. So it's almost like you're getting a mini course. Now, this does not replace our longer 6-week training, which is 14 CCEs, but I think it's a really good reflective tool to be working with. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite us all to just open our app, whether we have it or not. But I want you to open the actual deck once you've got it started. And what you're going to notice is there's a lot of different options of how we can use this. So as you'll see with mine, on the bottom right-hand corner, I usually just do a quick draw. And what a quick draw means, as you'll see on the bottom, is that you can pull 1 card, 2 cards, or 3 cards. So I might randomly, and I usually do this in the afternoon when I go to walk, I'll do a quick draw of two cards because I always like something unique. And my two cards that the system pulled out are both blue cards. We seem to be having a theme today of the Spiral Lighthouse Coach. No surprise. So I'm going to actually I'm going to flip it over. So I hit the first card, tap the first card, and it flipped over. And it gave me our two folks that I've already mentioned, right? So we've got our two Spiral Lighthouse coaches. That talks about layers, trust, safety, connection, a 360-degree view, and the safe harbor. Now, what's interesting is there's also, if I tap the card again, there's a video here that I can now watch. Okay, so there's actually three sides to each card. You tap it once, you see something, you see the people, or you see a statement like an inquiry. You tap it again, and now there's a video. I have to actually press either video, which is the way it is on my phone, or I can tap it again and I'm going to come up and start speaking. So I'm going to just hit video and it's going to go on over to YouTube. It'll come up in a minute because my phone is slow. And it's now going to take me into the actual video. You can't hear it, but I can expand it. I can move myself up. There I am speaking. You can't hear it, probably, but you can
help people notice every step of the journey in the upward or perhaps downward spiral. As some of my coach mentees say, where are we in the lighthouse? Are we at the top of the lighthouse? Are we at the ground? Are we midpoint? Where are we? Having the layers of trust, safety, and connection deeply embedded allow us to explore those deeper areas, which coaching is all about: mindset, belief systems, inner critic. What are you doing to activate more of your spiral lighthouse ability?
All right. So you may or may not have heard that too clearly. Ivana, could you hear it at all? Yes. Okay. So again, there's an inquiry here for each of the cards. What are you doing to activate your spiral lighthouse? And that might include a reflection on how am I going underneath the waterline? Am I really looking at belief systems right now with my clients? Am I thinking about what I'm doing to create trust, safety, and connection? So we're in an era right now in the coaching industry of really needing more reflective pause in our work. So that's where each of the cards actually has an inquiry built in, and you're invited to think about that. So you can either just think about it, or the beautiful thing, going back to the app, you're going to notice there's two buttons here. There's an option to journal. I might decide in the moment that I'm going to go and start journaling on this inquiry that I just asked. So I might say, and I'm going to put today's date down. Today's August 6th. And my inquiry might be how I go, as I call it, below the waterline, right? And so I'm thinking about a conversation I had earlier with one of my clients. I actually challenged them to name, and I won't say their name, but I actually challenged them to really look at the belief systems that they were bringing, because they were talking about current plans and where they were going. And I'm like, I'm not really hearing something that you've brought up in the rest of our conversations. How does it connect? So that to me was like, it was about being bold, right? It was about rocking the boat a little bit, which is not the norm of a spiral lighthouse coach, but really challenging that person to go below the waterline to see how that belief system that they've actually talked about every coaching conversation we've had is inputting or impacting their beliefs and their results. And that's a little different than what they were talking about. So I could just make some notes. I'm not going to do it right now, but as you can see, I type and it comes up, and I'm going to save that. And what happens now, as it saves, it's going to show up back at the front. So I'm going to save it to my timeline. And now I can go back on the 6th, right? That's today. It takes us to what we looked at, but I can also look at my journal. There's my journal entry. Not very clear on the screen, but wow, it's a great way to start tracking things. So we've talked a lot, or I've talked a lot in the last 6 years now since launching Coaching Business Builder and Plan Do Track about the importance of having these daily micro pauses. Yes, having a workbook planner is fantastic, but for some of us, we don't want to lug a book around. And hence, that's why I think even as an author, Deckible is such an invaluable tool. So really think about how this might support your practice of journaling. And the beauty is, if you choose, like I do on a daily or a regular basis, right, pick a card every day, you're going to start being able to see your own patterns. So in many ways, it's a self-coaching tool. Now, the stretch for me, as Ivana will attest, I could also set a meditation timer. There's a 5-minute timer built in. Maybe you want to meditate on something specific. So with the cards at the ready, you can set the timer. You can adjust the timer as well. It can be longer than 5 minutes. It could be like 30 seconds, right? I'd probably go 30 seconds, which is not enough. But in the Gen speed, it's 30 seconds of me thinking, reflecting, being. Someone else might want to choose like 12 minutes, but you've got that on your phone. And it's all part of the app. So I just want to pause here because I think people will look at this and go, oh, that's interesting. But they don't realize, one, you've got the video, two, you've got the journal, and three, you've got the meditation function. So I want to open it up. Let's go to Ivana, then we'll go to Steph, we'll go to Iman. Ivana, what are your thoughts right now as a Spiral Lighthouse guided, grounded labyrinth coach?
Yeah, I thank you, Jen. And I'm just in awe of this app. I haven't had a lot of exposure to it. So thanks for pulling the curtain back and letting us in. What I really appreciate about the app, and we talk about this as coaches and even the ICF about, continuing to develop our skills and growth and range, as you said, as a coach, is I love the versatility of approaches within one card.
Yes.
It's really beautiful. And what I really appreciate about it is also that I can actually look at it and kind of like create a plan, maybe, in terms of I want to do a focus on Spiral Lighthouse, which is my strength, but having taken the Activate course, and as you said, it's also about expanding that range. And so this is a great tool and resource that honors my mindfulness, but also honors that reflection, which we talk about all the time. So it brings, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say this is it's a tool and resource that helps me build my skill and my range as a coach while creating a moment of pause for me to actually go deeper within a specific topic, theme, or inquiry.
Beautiful. And if you look at what supervision is, this is actually a tool for supervision and for mentor coaching, right? It is, in many ways, a very just-in-time tool to get us into a daily practice of reflection and inquiry and thinking about what's adding value. So you can think of any supervision model on top of this as well. And supervision is really about the coach starting to discern the different layers of the systems work in which they are in. And so I think to me—
Can I add one more thing too, if I may?
Yeah.
We talk about this, as many of you have been in our programs, about that reflection for our participants. But what I love about this tool is it actually offers an opportunity for reflection for us as coaches.
Yes. Yes.
And which is just as important.
And thank you, because this truly is a tool for the coach. I know you had asked me, Ivana, so how can I use this with your clients? This deck, the Activate deck, is actually geared for you as a coach. Coming up is a 90-day guide for success series of decks, 3 decks of 90 days. You can use that with your clients, but this tool is actually for you to really explore the different— I'm going to use layers again, because really the Spiral Lighthouse says it best. It is about the different layers. How am I showing up? How am I growing my business? What tools am I using? And when I say tools, am I doing a visualization versus a sketch it out? Am I asking a question versus leaving people with an inquiry. Those are all different tools or approaches to coaching. And what I've seen over the last 20 years of training coaches to be better group and team coaches is we tend to gravitate to what our strengths are. We tend to stay in our lane. And that's not a great thing as a coach. In fact, we really want to expand our presence because we have our styles, right? But our clients also have diverse needs. So some of you have joined me for the Coaching Diverse Teams and Groups, or you've seen the TED Talk. The TED Talk, Coaching Teams Through Chaos, talks about different styles, the builder, the connector, the person on the team who's a social coordinator. Well, if I'm going to use Spiral Lighthouse Coach yet again, if I'm a Spiral Lighthouse Coach and I'm always about, let's look at where we are in this process, it's going to be resonant for a connector, but for a builder who wants to get things done, it might not be the best approach. The builder wants speed. They want movement. They're going to probably adjust or get activated more by a catalytic firecracker coach or a catalytic firecracker question. What's going to speed that up? What's going to ensure success? What's going to amplify your results? Those are questions from the catalytic firecracker coach. The Spiral Lighthouse coach might say, let's pause here for a moment. What do you notice at the ground? What do you notice at the 30,000-foot view? For a builder, that's going to get different reaction. So again, there is a sweet spot, and many of you are very aware of the sweet spot that I've been writing and speaking on for the last 12, 13, 14 years since actually really since 2006 when Group Coaching Essentials came to be. As coaches, we want to expand our range. We want to expand our strengths. We want to meet the needs of the diverse teams and groups that we work with. And we want to have this toolkit of tools and resources at our ready. Where I think coaches find a struggle, I think that's the easiest way. They find a struggle because they double down on just a few things that they're doing. Today's world of change, today's world of complexity requires that we have a wide variety of tools for all the different styles that our clients bring and all the different styles that we bring as well, because chances are you're going to be co-coaching. So how do you and your co-coach show up with as many tools as you can? So I'm going to go to Steph. Steph, where are you at? Have you downloaded the app yet? Where are you?
I did. I downloaded the app and I actually was on my you can also do it on your desktop.
Yeah. So do you want to share your screen? Are you on the desktop version of it right now?
I am, sure.
Okay. So I'm going to stop this share. We're going to go over to Steph's thing, because again, I think that like we're doing right now, this is a really fun tool if you are actually coaching, or maybe you're supervising or mentor coaching. This is like a collaborative tool that you as a group can start owning and working through. So Steph, do you want to share your desktop?
You have to enable it.
It should be enabled right now. I think I've allowed you to do that. I've got one participant can share at a time. So hopefully it's allowing you to share now.
Okay, let me try it again. There we go.
All right. So let's see Steph's desktop. And again, it started as an app, but if you download it, you can go into the app as well. So there we go.
So here it is. I couldn't find how to get the 3-day free trial with it.
So I think if you go back to the Deck store or to Deckible, let's go to Deckible. Okay. Let's see. There should be on their main page. Try any deck for free. Sign up today. So if it's not showing up naturally in your account, here's another. Can you back out to where you were? Okay. And I don't know if you need to sign up.
I already
might have something in your account that's also tokens. Tokens are another word. The other piece that you had, and again, Deckible is your daily practice toolkit.
It did tell me that I had 3 tokens.
So your tokens are your decks. Yeah. In their language, they use a token for a deck. So you can actually choose a deck using a token.
I
right?
added it to my wish list. There was a heart on it.
Okay, I love it.
Saved it. So maybe if I go here.
And we'll see if Steph could go from wish list to token. So you may go down to, let's see. I don't know if you want to
Click on
see what
checkout.
happens if you go to checkout. And we won't have you purchase, but there may be a way to do a
There
token.
should be a way to pay with your tokens, right?
Yeah, there is. And I think your tokens reside, if you back out to your account, Steph, you should be able to back out and get a token. If you're new, there you go, Stephanie. So let's go profile. And I'm sorry, I don't know this answer. Again, I don't control the
Oh,
app.
well, it's fine.
But
that's all I got.
okay, that's all she's got. But this gives you a good idea of what is there. Payment details, maybe not. I don't know.
No.
Okay. So again, you saw the back end of Deckible, but here's the thing with Deckible, really phone based in many ways. I also think, Steph, you might be able to go back to your Deck store or Decks, either Deck store or Decks. When she goes there, look at how many decks there are. So coaching and education, 187. There's a lot of decks here. There's a deck for everything.
Brainstorming and ideation.
Yeah, brainstorming.
And,
you know,
and I have to tell you, I am a deck person. So this is sitting by my desk. So soul coaching.
Ooh.
But in these, so more on the spiritual realm are my decks, but I love card decks.
You love card decks, and most people love card decks. I think either you love them or you don't like them. So I've had the question, are you going to be doing physical cards? So the cool news is, and let me see if I can put my hand on it in this office. I actually got a prototype of I'm so proud of it that where have I put it? Oh, here we go. I got a prototype of the 90-day guide card deck. And this has inspired me. I will be doing physical cards, and I'm going to I'll just stop your share for a sec, Steph, because I know I'm coming up as small. You can just stop that. But some of you might be interested in the 90-day guide for success. If you're a Reconnecting Workspaces coach, we have dozens of Reconnecting Workspaces coaches. So it is going to be on the app, but because in organizations, some people like cards, I did a print run of this. And so with the 90-day card deck, yes, we've got the different days, and there are 3 cards per day, right? You've got a quote, you've got a topic like what is mentoring, and then some questions to focus on. The fun thing with these physical decks is it's another way to work with it. If you really don't want to navigate on the phone because you're frustrated with even looking at the back end, then get a card deck. And so there is a new website dedicated to going back to our first deck that we're talking about, which is the Superpowers. There's actually a whole new website dedicated to that. So let me go back in just to show you the new website. And again, you'll see this page on the new website. I'll come back to this. We've talked about why you'd want to use this, reflective pause, grow your range, maybe really focus on your questions, your tools, your approaches to be more effective in that dance, whether you're jiving, whether you're waltzing with your co-coach, and really finding more flow in what you do. Because as a coach, as a business owner, we're doing so much every day. If we can find more flow, it's phenomenal. You're going to see it like this. So this is another card deck. And I'll go here just to see if I can make this a little bit bigger, right? I'm all about the co-coaching because I don't think we've really nailed this piece yet as an industry. And let's say you or I'm going to do an engagement right now with Ivana and with Steph, and we're going to be meeting with 100 leaders next week. I might start the conversation by asking Steph, what is one of your primary coaching superpowers?
So I actually am a catalytic firecracker.
Catalytic firecracker. So what's important for me to know about you and how you like to ask questions?
I like to find out what's stopping people from getting things done? What is
Okay.
it, what's their obstacles? And how can I help them as their accountability partner, if you will, to set goals that they can crush?
Okay. So notice Steph's language, set goals to crush. And as someone who really is a little bit catalytic firecracker, that's exciting to me. I'm also a creative tool master. So I'm thinking, what do I have in my portfolio? What do I have in my toolkit that we can do for goal crushing? Now, Steph and I in this scenario are not working alone. We're working with Ivana. So Ivana, what hat do you want to wear today? Because I know you also have a bit of grounded labyrinth in you as well. How would you want to show up before these leaders next week with us?
I'll bring in the spiral lighthouse.
Okay, so what's important for Steph and I to know about you and how you like to, let's focus on asking questions.
For me, it's about really supporting people to have an understanding of where they are and where they want to go, and have perspective on what that even means, what that looks like.
So again, I'm hearing a lot around perspective. So if the three of us were working, this is obviously a much shorter conversation and would play out, but we've got perspective, we've got crush it from Steph, we've got me and my tools. Well, what are we missing? We're missing some of this really important energy of the grounded labyrinth coach. How do we slow it down to help the team speed up, or those leaders speed up to slow down? Because chances are they might be running around like chickens with no head. How do we also activate more of Allie's ecosystem connector, helping them become aware of their system that they're operating within? So the app can be just a sparker to expand our insights, expand our range. And I hope that my intent from today was to just really give you a sense of, what does this look like? What does this feel like? It is not a replacement for our longer program, and we will be coming back to the 6-week program this fall. I'm going to be doing it on Monday afternoons from 1:30 to 3, starting September 9th. Notice there are a couple of weeks that we don't have calls because of holidays here. And I'm also going to be doing, bringing back a fall intensive, which will run about an hour north of Toronto in Barrie, Ontario, on October 25th, 26th, 27th. And so that weekend will be 2 courses together. It'll be not only looking at the Activate Our Superpowers, but also coaching, with a little typo there, coaching diverse teams and groups, which is all about helping teams understand who they are. So if you are interested in that, I know many of you are thinking, I want to do the summer intensive, but it's so far to drive up here. I will be back in the Barrie area, about 1 hour north of Toronto, from October 25th to 27th. If you want to join me live at beautiful Friday Harbor, or you can also join us hybrid. And I'm hoping to have an owl available. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the owl, but the owl is a really pretty neat technology which allows us to have better hybrid events. And so I'll have the owl at play for anyone who can't make it to Canada for that training. We'll be bringing you in through the owl so that you will feel like you're there with us. We'll have a big TV, big screen, and it is going to be a program capped. It's going to be an intensive, which is very intimate. So there'll only be 6 to 8 of us in the room at one time, virtually and physically. So with that, I want to ask you, what do you think is possible? Thinking about the app, thinking about what you just seen today. I know we have Iman here. Iman, if there's anything you want to share, feel free to unmute or put it in chat. What was the experience like for you?
So for me, I just downloaded it like right when we were in the call. It's like a one-stop shop in the palm of your hands,
In the
which
palm
is
of your
great.
hands. Yeah. And I'm sort of like, using the copyright trademark now, if it's a coach in your hand, right? Like, it's like you are in the hand. And
Yeah.
wow, like, what a great way, if we're thinking about working and building our own practices, but for the work that we do with our clients, what could you be creating on your own? Steph, thoughts, reflections on this?
I love the technology application to something I've always only used as a physical product. So I think it's really cool because we do, everybody does have their phones. So, and people love to interact with their phones. We have an addiction, as well as a love relationship with our phone, right? So, to be able to use it, and I'm not quite sure, is this something where our, the people whom we are coaching will also be looking at?
So I think maybe not with this deck, but that's why the 90-day guide deck is coming out for people who are being onboarded in organizations or new leaders, right? The 90-day guide for success is a book that's to support people in that first 90 days of a new role. That deck is not about us. That deck is all about our clients in that onboarding process. So yes, the answer is absolutely not perhaps the Activate deck unless their leader is coach, because I would assert that leaders as coach actually need this deck as well. How are you showing up as a coach with your team or in your organization?
That it would be a great eye opener to use it as a training session with leaders. If you're in an organization that has that philosophy that their leaders should be coaching their teams, and in a training session with these leaders to be able to have them use their phones, log into the deck,
Into the act.
and check out all the different attributes that they need to, well, you know, which one are they? What is their superpower? And how does that affect how they interact with their, the people on their team? And then also what the people on the team actually have some of these characteristics as well.
You got it.
Yeah, so I could see it really being a powerful learning tool.
Yeah. I think, you know, if you're building a coaching culture, Steph has said it better than I could, right? This is a gift. This is a tool for your team members. And we all have phones. We're all using them every day. So let's look at how do we really activate it and build stronger muscles, because we know that you only build muscles if you have daily practice. It's not, oh, I went to a workshop, a half-day workshop on coaching. This is really the back end of a half-day workshop on coaching. How do you keep building these skills? And the nice thing is, while it's currently 63 videos and 63, you know, cards, I can be adding to that as time goes by to provide bonus material for people who have had it for a while. So, Ivana, thoughts, final comments beyond, I get excited about the journaling function personally. I don't know, what are you excited about with this product?
For me, what I'm excited is the versatility and the application of it. So whether you are a new coach, seasoned coach, and want to develop your skill in your range, it's a beautiful introduction with hands-on resources, which might lead you to invest in the program. So it starts that, it opens, to me, it's like the opening of the lotus. You know, the quiz is the opening, and now you've got this tool and resource. What I also love and what I'm tracking is that there's so much different application, regardless of the way you learn, but also whether it be you're a new coach, whether you're a coach who's a supervisor and a mentor, you know, so the application, the versatility of this deck, or whether, as you already said with Steph, you're a coach and you actually want to bring a coaching approach to your training and development or in your own organization. And so that with that whole layer of co-coaching, you could actually be using this and having your partners within your own collaboration within an organization or not. Just, it's versatile and it's easy, it's accessible, and just for what it's worth. On the phone, you don't see that because it's blur, but you see it on the buy option. It's also right to the right of it is try for 1 credit. So on the phone, it's super easy
maybe it's
to
only
give
on
the
the
option.
phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
there
then
you
it
go.
also adds for the card lovers is every purchase you get a free credit. So you can keep trying decks.
There you go.
Yeah. So thanks, Jen.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I really hope, part of my mission around this area, I put the ground or the stake in the ground last year that I wanted 25,000 people to take the quiz. So we haven't talked about the quiz, which started this all off. You can
Yeah.
go to bit.ly/GT Coaching Superpower. I'll say that again, bit.ly/GT Coaching Superpower. G is for group, T is for team, Coaching Superpower. So it's bit.ly/GT Coaching Superpower. This to me is also a research tool. How are coaches showing up in the world? What are they leading with? Again, the framework is not that you are one thing. We want to grow our range in all 5. And so it's interesting to start the process with the quiz. You're going to get a brief 8-page sort of report on what your primary is. If for some reason the back end isn't working, don't panic. Just reach out to me, info@potentialsrealized.com, and ask for the report of your style. And I hope that then is a springboard for you to think about investing in the app, right? It's a lower price point than jumping into a 6-week program. My hope, though, is that you will jump in to the longer 14 CCE program to learn more about building the skills and collaborating with not only your partners, i.e. our clients, but also with other coaches if you are doing the work. So thank you all for spending a little bit more than 40 minutes together on this. I hope you enjoyed as much as I put it together, and stay tuned because this is not the only deck that will be out. Again, the 90-day guide is coming close behind, and I just finished the recordings. I would love any feedback on the video or audio elements as well. I think it's an extra bonus. Yeah, so stay in touch, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for our next call. Be well, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Jen.
Bye.
Thanks. See ya.